Okay, so this is your first lesson of the top five ways to find undervalued properties in any city at any time. This is one of the best ones to do. Reason why it's not higher ranked in our top five is because they're not as common as some other properties that we're going to show you how to find, and they're not as readily available. And it comes with some some things that you have to realize that, like, there's sealed bid bidding on these, which means you don't know who's competing or how many bids there are. You just realize that you put your best foot forward. So that's not a great way to negotiate. However, when you do get these can be incredibly profitable and lucrative. So what you're going to do is you're going to Google search your town, and then you're going to Google search tax sales, deed sales, tax arrears, public tender, tax liens, sheriff sale, or sheriff sale of lands. So, for example, you're going to say like Miami tax sales, or you're going to say like Toronto tax sales, or like Wyoming tax arrears, or whatever your area that you want to specialize in, province, state, whatever it is. And from there, you're going to pull up a list. And this is the one where, I'm in Ontario, and so Ontario is the province. The province deals mainly with the entire province, except for the city of Toronto and I think Mississauga. They do their own. So the area of Peel, they do their own tax sales. Those are cities. They do their own, but then the province takes care of the rest of the province. So when you're looking at these properties, you will see that how you buy tax sales is you effectively buy what is owing to the municipality of arrears and taxes. Now, Ontario has a 4-year um, grace period, meaning you can be behind on 4 years before they go into this process. And there's other municipalities like in the East Coast, in Halifax, there's only I think it's a 12-month window. Might even be lower now, but so if you're behind on 1 year, they'll sell your property for what the tax is owing. Now, I don't know where most of these properties are, but where they are is kind of irrelevant. You get these properties for pennies on the dollar. So, we've brought in properties out in Halifax and, parts of Ontario that I've never visited before and still have not visited this day. It's irrelevant because if I can get a piece of land for $7,000 and it's worth 30 or 40 or 50,000, it doesn't really matter to me what the property looks like. I could just sell it for a pretty decent profit. It's quite lucrative. Now, township of Selwyn, I don't know where any of these are, but if you're looking for specific homes, so some of these will have addresses on them. This one's probably a piece of land. It just says part lot 12 concessions, probably a piece of land for $5,000. Township of Essa. When you have like an actual address, like this one here, like Peter Street or 1277 Luzon Road, which I don't know where any of these properties are. These are probably actual homes. Whereas there's a good mix of land and homes on most tax sales, tax arrears. And so the minimum tender amount that's the minimum what's owing to the municipality. And like I said, the process of negotiation is not ideal for investors, but you're really negotiating for pennies on the dollar. For example, here's some properties with some recent activity. Here's like a piece of vacant land. They're asking, we're not asking, but the municipality was behind on taxes, $10,811. And the highest tender, it's probably only one, was they came in at $15,010. Why I think there's only one is because usually they'll list like how many other tenders they had and what those results were. Why it's frustrating, I'll see if I could find one here. Let me see here. Here's a cool one. This was canceled, but the tax owing was $777,000. Like, oh my goodness, that's a lot of money to pay. But look at the assessed value. It comes in $2 million piece of land. So if you could get it, you're buying something at under 50% loan to value. It's probably like a 40%. If you could spend 40 cents to get a dollar, that's basically what you're doing here in this instance. So it's pretty good that way. Same with this one. Some of these are canceled. But I'm trying to see here, this bid was a minimum tender bid of $27,000. The second highest bidder was $30,000. This poor guy paid $52,000. Now these are sealed bids because if in an auction scenario for $30,000, the next person next to you, because it's a public auction, so you'll see what the bids are. You could have bid at 31 and still won, or 32, but this is a sealed bid. So someone put 30s and the other guy put 52,000. So he got it for 52. The assessed value, though, look at the assessed value, $161,000, which he got for $50,000. It's still an incredible deal. Okay. Now this looks like some kind of, it's like vacant land, but it's up near like cottage country, some lakefront property here. There's all sorts of stuff here. Look at this. So look at the sealed bid here on this one. This is a house. Assessed value is 204,000. You paid 150,000 for it. I think it's a little too high in my personal opinion. Second highest bid was 105. So in an auction scenario, you could have got this for 106 or 110. So you don't have to spend the kind of money. But that's one of the big negatives, which is why tax sales are not higher up in our ranking of finding properties. But the good thing is there's tons of these things. Like you could buy homes like this. This is one's tax sale. They're asking 9,000 and change for this one. Here's a property, it's vacant land, commercial property, $15,000 is what's owing on the taxes. Down in Florida is really neat. Like these are all the active ones. There's tons and tons of these things in Florida. They do an online bidding process. And they start bidding here at like 2,940 and they'll go up from there. A lot of these were already redeemed, but some of these auctions start fairly soon. And you go in and you just sign online and you'll see the bids coming in as this goes from 2,744, it'll go to like 3,000, 4 and 5, etc. And then you just say, hey, look, the assessed value of this property is $3,000. You're like, well, what could that possibly be? Well, it's probably some vacant land. It's probably a very small piece of vacant land. Some of these are quite lucrative. Here it looks as probably a condo or a house, small house. The assessed value of 25,000. Now, assessed value is always lower than market value. So realistically, you probably sell this for 40,000, and you could potentially get it for 3,000 bucks. So it's you don't need a lot of money to get started in this. If you got this house for 3,000 and sold it for 20,000 or 25,000, just the assessed value, you do pretty well, and you could do these over and over and over again. So that's tax sales. And if I'm trying to think what other points here, but when we bought our first tax sale years ago, and they were asking if it was just over $15,000 tax arrears. I paid 90,000 for it. There was a few bids on it. I don't know what they paid or what their auction amount was because there's a sealed envelope. We sold that property. I sold that property for $350,000 the following week after it closed on the auction, and I sold to a builder who came in and developed the property, and then I think he eventually sold it again for not as much profit as I made off of him. But it probably sold it probably too low. But at the end of the day, I was okay to turn that profit around in 1 week and go on to the next one. So that's tax sales. There's lots of them. It's in our top 5, and I hope you find some tax sales on your own.